Welcome to the review for Quiz 7 in Audio 1. This will be the last review for this semester. And next week we will probably in class do a review of all the quizzes, and then it'll be the final exam. All right, but let's do the review first. Okay, it is true that there are 4 different styles of microphone placement that they talked about in the book, and they're directly related to the working distance of the microphone to the sound source. So the first close microphone placement is a tight present sound. That would be what I have set up here. My mic is about 9 inches from me. And like we saw last week, it's kind of just under frame here. And ideally, I like it, depending on the situation, between 6 inches, maybe a foot if they're a really loud, more operatic type singer. But that kind of area, 6 inches to a foot. Distant microphone placement has a more acoustic sound and can be recorded, and it would record the environment as a whole. I guess I would still sort of think of this as possibly one mic recording a singer or an instrument, but also getting the surrounding space, which we're getting a little bit in here in my living room. The ambient miking, that will capture the reverberant qualities of the performance. So that's not entirely just the reverb, but it is a situation where I would have usually 2 microphones, especially if I'm in stereo, and you try to get that stereo image and get all the reflections of the reverb and mix that with the closer mics. An accent mic is usually used for a softer instrument in a larger ensemble. So if you have an orchestra and you have a violin soloist and you want to make sure that the mixing engineer has that to make sure we can feature that, you'll have an accent mic on that. Okay, when you have a pair of microphones, there are a few different ways you can set them up and a few different results that you get from them. Spaced pair will give you a good overall stereo image. When I can get these to work right and I can have the time to set up the phase and have it all be perfect, I probably would prefer the spaced pair. More often than not, though, I will use the XY. The XY is the next one. It creates a better stereo image than the spaced pair, I think, because it's naturally in phase. They're coincident is the word I like to use. They're the same place at the same time, and so they're always going to be in phase. The MS pair, they're processed as a mid and then a left side and a right side. And I think we got into the particulars of how to do that, and maybe did it with a guitar or something else. And it's a really great technique. Whether it's true stereo or not, we can have a debate about that. The Decca tree is something I associate with classical recordings almost exclusively, right? And so you've got a left and a right microphone that are placed 3 feet apart, and then a third microphone placed 1.5 feet out in front, and that's in the center. The other 2 are to the left and right. Condenser mics, they record a more detailed sound, more high frequencies, faster transient response, that sort of thing. Dynamic and ribbon microphones they record more of the ruggedness, but that seems also informed by the idea that like SM57s and SM58s that we talked a few weeks ago, that they're everywhere. They are physically very rugged. They're solid microphones. It's, if you've ever seen the mic drop, right? That's an SM58, and nobody's really worried that, oh, that guy dropped the microphone and it's going to be hurt. No, the SM57s, SM58s are both very rugged, sturdy microphones, but they also get that more mid-range ruggedness. Okay, ATR stands for Analog Tape Recorder, and you will see that sometimes in diagrams, sometimes in old school studios listed on the patch bay. And lastly, it is false, whatever the true-false question is, that DAW technology and methods for precisely modeling hardware devices in software have advanced. I guess that is true, whatever the false statement is. And you have new types of plugins that can emulate the sound of analog tape machines. That's true. Yeah, I could talk for a long time about that analog digital debate. I think it's pretty much over, and the things that analog does great, we still kind of do analog. The things that digital does great, we're doing digital. So that's where we are now. Okay, and where we are now is at the end of Audio 1. Thanks for watching these. I hope they were helpful, and like the kangaroo says, at these prices, I'm not surprised.